Loyalty is something that every human being inherently respects, and us fans know how rare and tough it is for a player to spend their entire career with one franchise. We've seen guys like DeMar DeRozan who wanted to stay loyal to the team that drafted him but got traded to better the team, or Bradley Beal who was in the same boat, but the Wizards not building a contender around him only made it a matter of time until he requested a trade. We do have some current players though, like Giannis and the Splash Bros plus Draymond Green on the Warriors, but in this video, I'm going to be going over 13 NBA players who spent their entire career with one franchise. Cue the intro. I just want to mention that this list is not in any particular order from worst to greatest or anything like that, just 13 players who spent their entire playing career with one franchise. So without further ado, let's hop right into this list. With number 13, Manu Ginobili. One of the most beloved players by NBA fans, but seriously, have you ever seen someone who does not like Manu Ginobili? Manu spent his entire 16-year career with the San Antonio Spurs, and being drafted 57th overall and not even having his name pronounced properly while being drafted, nobody saw this Hall of Fame career coming. Manu made his debut for the Spurs in the 2002-2003 season, and even though he was coming off the bench and didn't get that many minutes, he still helped the Spurs as a crucial part of their bench to win the 2003 NBA championship in just his rookie season. Manu would later pick up a 6th Man of the Year award in 2008, 2 All-Star teams, 2 All-NBA selections, 3 more NBA championships, and a spot in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Manu may not have the most eye-opening stats in the world, but his impact for the Spurs with his unselfish play and clutch scoring abilities were definitely felt over the years, and he called it a career in 2018 at the age of 40, spending his entire 16-year career with the San Antonio Spurs. Number 12, we got Udonis Haslem. Now hear me out before you guys ask why he's on this list. I'm aware that Udonis Haslem doesn't compare to the other players on this list skill-wise, but he did spend 20 seasons with the Miami Heat, and he definitely had his moments in his career. Udonis had more of a leadership role in his second half of his career, as he usually played no more than 20 games a season. But the newly retired Miami Heat, Udonis Haslem, won 3 championships with the franchise in 2006, 2012, and 2013. Haslem was their starting power forward in their 2006 run, averaging around 10 points and 8 boards per game. But the other 2 championships, Haslem was their power forward off the bench, but he did bring a lot of toughness and leadership to that team. Although he didn't play, Haslem's leadership helped the Miami Heat make the finals in 2020 and 2023 as an 8th seed. Udonis did a great job keeping the team focused, especially on the defensive end, and I believe most teams in the NBA are missing a veteran player like this on their team. Number 11, we got Isiah Thomas. One of the faces of the league in the 80s, Isiah Thomas was not only one of the quickest and most talented point guards of all time, but he was also the face of the Bad Boy Pistons in the 80s and 90s who won back-to-back championships in 1989 and 1990. Isiah spent his entire 13-year career with the Detroit Pistons, and there he made 12 All-Star teams, 5 All-NBA teams, 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs, and a member of the NBA's 75th anniversary team. Thomas, however, did retire at the age of 32 in 1994 after he tore his Achilles, and his Pistons just weren't the same team anymore. Number 10, we got Bill Russell. One of the icons of the game, Bill Russell did not only spend his entire 13-year career with the Boston Celtics, but he was also one of the most successful players in NBA history, winning a total of 11 championships in his 13-year career. Bill was actually drafted by the St. Louis Hawks as the 2nd pick in 1956, but was traded to the Celtics after he was drafted, and spent his entire career rocking the white and green. Number 9, we got Reggie Miller. Before the NBA had guys like Ray Allen and the Splash Bros in Golden State, the NBA had Reggie Miller. Drafted with the 11th pick in 1987 by the Indiana Pacers, Reggie spent his entire 18-year career in Indiana, and he did one hell of a job leaving his mark in history there. Before his record was eventually broken by Ray Allen, James Harden, and Steph Curry, Reggie held the record for the most 3-pointers made in an NBA career at just over 2,500. He also picked up 5 All-Star appearances, 3 All-NBA teams, hit multiple iconic shots like his 3 against the Bulls in the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals, or his 8 points in 9 seconds to steal a huge game from the Knicks in the playoffs. Reggie was never able to win a championship, but is in the Basketball Hall of Fame and is now one of the main commentators for NBA on TNT. Number 8, we got David Robinson. Another Spurs legend on this list, David Robinson, who was not only the number 1 pick for the Spurs in 1987, but he also served in the US military and didn't make his NBA debut until the 1989 season. But the wait for Robinson to enter the NBA was worth it, as in his rookie season, he averaged 24 points, 12 boards, and 4 blocks per game, and also picked up an All-Star nod and Rookie of the Year as well. Robinson was a monster his early years in the NBA, and even won MVP in 1995 at the age of 29, averaging 27 points, 11 boards, and 3 blocks per game. Robinson would add 2 more championships to his resume in 1999 and 2003, and he's also only one of 2 NBA players, the other being Michael Jordan, to win a scoring title and a Defensive Player of the Year award. Robinson could do it all, and would call it a career in 2003 at the age of 37. But Robinson winning a title in his final game with the Spurs in 2003, you couldn't write off a better ending to a Hall of Fame career. Number 7, we got Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk is widely regarded as not only one of the best big men to play the game, but one of the most unique big men, as he had one of the most unguardable moves with his fadeaway jumper and standing at 7'1", which made him impossible to defend. Dirk was drafted 9th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks in 1998, but the Mavs traded for him on draft night, and after his shaky rookie season, Dirk picked it up the following season, going from 8 points to 17 per game. Dirk and his Mavs were always a top force in the Western Conference, but teams like the Suns, the Spurs, and the Lakers always got the edge over them. It was not until 2011, Dirk's 13th year in the league, where he would win his one and only championship against the Big Three Miami Heat with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. Dirk would never reach the finals again, but he did pick up multiple All-Star appearances and All-NBA selections. Dirk called it a career in 2019, and he also holds the record for most seasons in one franchise at 21. Number 6, we got John Stockton. One of the most durable players in NBA history, John Stockton not only holds the record for most assists and steals of all time, but he was also one of the most durable players as well, only missing 22 games in his 19-year career. And on top of that, he did it with one team, the Utah Jazz. Stockton was one of the grittiest point guards this league has ever seen, as he only stood at 6'1", but was one of the league's best defenders. The 10-time All-Star was never able to get over the hump to win an NBA championship, but he was always reliable to suit up and drop dimes. Number 5, we got Larry Bird. One of the greatest and most iconic players to play the game of basketball. Larry Bird spent his entire 13-year career with the Boston Celtics, and he won 3 MVPs and 3 championships in the 80s alone. Larry and the Celtics rivalry against the Lakers and Magic Johnson was must-watch TV back in the day, and they faced each other 3 times in the NBA Finals. Larry Bird was not only the best shooter in his era, but he has got endless clutch moments and solidified himself as one of the best players in NBA history. Number 4, we got Magic Johnson. Just like our previous entry Bird, Magic Johnson was the second half of the Celtics-Lakers rivalry in the 80s. And with how great Larry and the Celtics were, Magic and the Lakers were just a tad bit better. Magic and his Lakers won 5 NBA titles in the 80s, including Magic winning the title and Finals MVP in his rookie season in 1980. Magic and his rivalry with Larry and the Celtics revived the NBA in the 80s, as the league was desperate for a new star, and what better than a 6'9" point guard with magician-like passes and a well-rounded scoring game. Magic spent his entire career with the Lakers, but he had to cut it short after the 1991 Finals after he got diagnosed with HIV. He did return for one more year in 1995-96, but called it a career after that. And the 5-time NBA champ and 3-time MVP was on his way to the Hall of Fame. Number 3, we got Tim Duncan. Our third Spur on this list, and our greatest one as well. Tim Duncan is widely regarded as the best power forward in NBA history, and that's a hard statement to disagree with. Tim Duncan was a very quiet guy who didn't talk much trash, if at all. But Duncan did all of his talking on the court, picking up 5 championships and 2 MVPs in his 19-year career with San Antonio. His Spurs team were also one of, if not the most successful team in the NBA and all of sports, and Tim Duncan and his Spurs never finished below the 50-win mark. Number 2, we got Steph Curry. Steph, who spent his entire 14-year career and counting with the Golden State Warriors, technically could play for another team in the future, but I don't think we can agree that Michael Jordan coming out of retirement is more likely than Steph playing for another team. But the 2-time MVP Steph Curry had such a big impact on the game with his shooting that every team in the NBA shoots volume 3s now. Steph also helped the Golden State Warriors win their first title in 40 years in 2015, and is a key piece to their dynasty, which he helped them win 4 championships in 8 seasons, including Finals MVP in 2022. Steph Curry, who is undoubtedly the greatest shooter of all time, could be at the top of this list when his career is all said and done. But at number 1, we got Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. Not only is Kobe arguably the greatest player on this list, but he's got one hell of a story as well. As a child raised in Italy, Kobe only had access to Lakers games on VHS that his relatives would send to him, but Kobe had a vision, and he wanted to be the best basketball player wearing the purple and gold. And in 1996, the Hornets would draft him 13th overall, but Jerry West and the Lakers knew Kobe was a special talent, so they traded for him on draft night. And 20 years later, Kobe is an 18-time All-Star, 5-time NBA champion, a 2-time Finals MVP, 15 All-NBA teams, 2-time scoring champion, 33,643 career points, and every single one of those games in the iconic purple and gold for the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe is undoubtedly the greatest Laker of all time and takes home the well-deserved #1 spot on this list. Thank you guys if you made it to the end of this video. If you like this video and want to see more content just like this one, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.